PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to the show. This week on PCN, we bring you exciting stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Pembroke, and Plymouth. We stop into a career fair for Girl Scouts, meet up with the monthly Burial Hill Tour, and visit a job fair hosted by the Healthy Plymouth Opportunities Program.
We have a new contributor to our health and wellness segment, Duxbury Fitness, whose owner talks about core strength, and Town Talk brings us to Plymouth Town Hall for an update.
We will visit the Plymouth Library, which housed an informational forum on the decommissioning of a nuclear power plant.
And we start in Marshfield with a story that encompasses 3 of our towns. Every 2 years, the 5 best South Shore High School choirs come together to create a choral consortium. 5 school choirs, including Pembroke, Plymouth North, and Silver Lake, that have never performed together, all met up at Marshfield High School for a day-long rehearsal in preparation for their upcoming spring concert.
Once again, original 8. Energy, energy.
Gracias, gracias, gracias.
Do we? Okay.
And then don't get so late to be gracias.
Every other year, we put together what we call the High School Choral Consortium, where we have 5 of the best select high school ensembles that come together, and we rehearse them together as a group, and then add them to the orchestra and have a marvelous concert. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. Today, we are at Marshfield High School for a day-long series of rehearsals of these 5 high school choral programs who have never performed together before.
This morning, we all met inside the auditorium and arranged ourselves in sections and just sang through our music at a little bit of a slower tempo than what we're used to, but just to see where we're at. And we just kept on going, even if we fell apart. But we got through both of the pieces, and then we split up into sectionals where the sopranos, altos, tenors, and basses each worked on their own parts. And we worked more focusing on treble spots and making sure that we have all the notes and rhythms right for everything.
So far, this experience has been really amazing. The music is challenging, definitely, and it's been challenging being with different sections and having to work on all the challenging music and sight reading parts of it, because we haven't gotten through all of the music in class. But it's been amazing just to keep learning the music and to be working non-stop just on the music. 2
years ago, it was a little bit different because we had more rehearsals that were at night and shorter, but this year it's one long day of rehearsing. So it definitely prepared me, because last year was the first time I'd sung in this environment in such a big choir, and I know what the concert is going to be like singing with the professional orchestra. But this year it definitely feels like more of a music festival where everyone is just determined to get stuff done today.
The music is very moving, and the pieces are very energetic, and we hope that it'll give people a fun time and a time of just feeling uplifted and energized after hearing it.
I would definitely want the audience to say, wow. It's just a huge sound. Hearing the professional orchestra definitely pushes the high school students to a new level of musicality. It just makes you feel like you should be there and makes you sing better. So I think the audience should be saying, wow.
People ask me what kind of business I'm in. We're in the experience business. And we've now created an experience where an audience member will see 207 vocalists with a fully professional symphony orchestra playing powerhouse music. And if they're not changed, and in a good way by the end of it, they should check their pulse. There's something wrong.
Wonderful. I know I got to see that firsthand when my daughter was in the choir in Pembroke a few years ago, and she got to do that, and it was just magnificent. It was wonderful.
Yeah, they were awesome, and Stephen's really full of life.
Yes.
And I'd probably spoken with him once before in another interview, And this time he's very open about everything, and any questions you have, he was totally cool about it. And then to see him in action, never mind the kids are amazing, but to watch him doing his thing, it was really impressive. And I'm sure it's going to be an awesome show when they do it in April.
It'll be beautiful. In October of 2015, the Entergy Corporation announced plans to decommission the Pilgrim nuclear power plant by 2019. Just last week, several scientists held a forum at the Plymouth Public Library to discuss the details with the public. We spoke with two of the experts to find out exactly what decommissioning a nuclear power plant entails.
The process to knock down a nuclear plant takes about 10 years. And I wrote the first decommissioning handbook back in the 80s, so I know that. The first thing you have to do when you shut a nuclear plant down is get the fuel out of the nuclear reactor into the fuel pool. And it'll stay there for 4 or 5 years. And the second thing you have to do is go through all of the liquid systems and drain the radioactive liquid and process it. At that point, you can lay the plant up for a long time because there's nothing to rust and there's nothing to leak. That process takes about a year to get the plant to the point where you can walk away and realize that there's not going to be any further leaks. About 4 years on, it's time to move the nuclear fuel out of the fuel pool, and then it goes down on the ground and sits in dry casks until the government's ready to take it to Yucca Mountain or another permanent waste dump.
Right now, there's no place for spent fuel to go. The Department of Energy is working furiously on trying to find an interim site where they can gather together the fuel from the various nuclear plants. But that hasn't happened, and in our view, it's not likely to happen anytime soon. The best course for the fuel that's generated at these plants is to take it out of the spent fuel pools, especially in plants like Pilgrim, where the spent fuel pool is an elevated pool. It's on the third or fourth floor, whatever it is, and really get it down and separate it out into units of 68 assemblies and packed into hermetically sealed stainless steel canisters. The canisters put in concrete silos. That way the fuel is stabilized. There's no reasonable accident that we could predict for fuel that's stored that way.
There will be a last day that Pilgrim runs, and the reactor's like a big pressure cooker. And once they take that lid off and they start removing the fuel, it's over. There's no more electricity coming out, there's no more pressure, and there's no more risk of a nuclear meltdown. The process of tearing down the structure is just like tearing down this library. It's wrecking balls, it's cutting torches, occasionally it's explosives, but you also have the issue of you have to remove the radioactivity before you do that. So when you drop a building, last thing you want is a cloud of radioactive dust. So all of the radioactive material is taken out and sent most likely to Texas to a waste dump there before you drop the concrete structures. I hope that the citizens who come tonight get an appreciation for how easy the process is, but how complicated the regulatory maze is.
Girl Scouts from all over the South Shore got a little taste of what the future may have in store for them when they get out of high school or college. At the Kingston Intermediate School, booths were set up all over the gymnasium, kind of like a job fair. At each booth, there were women, most of them former Girl Scouts themselves, to show and tell these young women about all of the different career paths in which they may embark.
I saw an artist and a scientist. I want to go to school to be like an engineer or artist.
This is the fourth year that we have run a Trip to What You Can Be, and it's basically a career event for girls so that they can see all of the opportunities available to them. It started 4 years ago. My daughter came home and said she was going to be a professional softball player, and then in the off season she would be an archaeologist. And I said, that is awesome, because when I was in school, you could be a nurse, a secretary, a mom, or a teacher. Like, I never thought of any of this other stuff. And then I looked around at all my peers, and I have peers who do really cool stuff. And I said, you've got to come in and talk to the girls. And then it started with, well, I have a friend and I have a friend, and I have a friend. Last year we topped 60 women in here. And the crazy thing was, is out of those 60 women, 2/3 of them were former Girl Scouts. And they were so excited to come back and share. And they have come back saying, I wish I had something like this when I was in school. I wish I had something like this when I had in school. And the women actually leave, I think, having a better time than the girls do.
I saw a lot of interesting women doing extraordinary things. Some of what I saw were marine biology, people working in the DA's office. I thought that women are capable of doing whatever they want, and it's endless possibilities.
When you're in the larger Girl Scout community here, if you're a service unit coordinator, you're part of a blog site, and so we can post activities that we're running that we think would be great for other girls to come. I posted this one. I have heard from about 10 towns from around Kingston. They're here from Yarmouth and Bourne, Hanover, Rockland, Randolph, Franklin, Weymouth, and we've never had this many girls come from other towns. I want them to be thinking how easy this event is to put on in their own town so they can share it with the girls around them. And I just want the girls to start thinking they can be anything. They can be anything they want to be.
It was really fun, and Kim and I got to do the PACTV booth, and it was really kind of hard to explain to the youngest girls, you know, what is an access station. So we talked more about, we do a news program. It's all good, fun news. And the thing they loved the best is to see themselves in the camera that Kim had set up.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you with the little kids what kind of questions they asked you.
They really didn't. They really didn't know what to make of us, but they looked at the camera and they could see themselves in the camera and they thought that was wicked cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. The town of Plymouth is so rich with history that you could live here your whole life and still only know a fraction of it. For people like us who are always trying to learn more about the town we represent, it's nice to know we've got a resource like Donna Curtin of the Plymouth Hall Museum to give free historical tours of Burial Hill once a month. We stopped over on a cool, windy Saturday for the inaugural tour of the 2016 season.
The clear blue sunny skies overhead can be a bit deceiving, while the sound of the wind and the sight of spectators wearing hats and gloves huddling just to stay warm offer a more accurate assessment of the conditions on the ground here on this day at Burial Hill. On the first Saturday of every month except for January, the Plymouth Antiquarian Society hosts free public tours of Burial Hill. The month of March is Women's History Month, so that will be the theme for today's event. Regardless of the weather, the tour will go on as it has for the past 5 years.
This series of free public tours of Burial Hill was started back in 2011 by the Plymouth Antiquarian Society as a way to share information about Plymouth's history that extended over the full scope of 400 years, because Burial Hill has early interments, it has Native American grave sites below those of the English colonists and every generation since.
And starting in 2016, the Pilgrim Society and Pilgrim Hall Museum have collaborated with the Antiquarian Society to continue these tours right through the year 2020.
This is really wonderful because Donna Curtin in particular has so much knowledge about Burial Hill and about Plymouth's 400 years of history. So we're really happy to be collaborating, continuing that relationship with Donna.
For now, Ann Riley serves as somewhat of an understudy to Donna Curtin until it's her turn to host these tours in the second half of the season. And if you're wondering just who's in attendance for these events, you might be surprised to find out that it's not just for the out-of-towners.
Well, I hadn't been to Burial Hill before and always wanted to come, and this was a great time to do it with the tour today. And I'm interested in the history of women, and the history of women in Plymouth seemed to be a great topic.
She brought it all the way from the very beginning up through the last woman that was buried here in 1959, which I thought was a really different approach and very, very interesting because it showed the depth and the breadth of the people that were buried here and how things changed over the years.
A lot of different kinds of people turn out to attend these free public tours. We have a lot of residents of Plymouth. We have visitors to Plymouth, and I think one of the things that newcomers here, whether they're living here in the town or coming from somewhere else, are really astonished by is the absolute beauty of this location.
This is almost, you know, you look out here and you can just see Duxbury and right across the Plymouth Beach. It's a beautiful spot, probably any time of year.
Because of Donna Curtin's vast knowledge and great storytelling skills, not only did she retain the entire group from start to finish, she actually picked up a few more people along the way. All of this in spite of the chilly and windy conditions on top of the hill.
Oh, it's very windy on top of the hill today. You can look and see all the breakers out on the ocean, and we tried to huddle behind some of the monuments, but we survived.
At Burial Hill in Plymouth, I'm Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News. Healthy Plymouth is a collaboration between Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital Plymouth, the Plymouth School System, the Town of Plymouth leadership, and local organizations to get involved and make an investment in our community. Their latest initiative, the Healthy Plymouth Opportunities Program, is focused on providing learning opportunities for middle school and high school students that live in Plymouth. We stopped into Plymouth North to meet with the organizers.
Last year we had our first annual HPOP fair. This year's our second. Based on the information that we learned from the students and businesses, we decided to have two fairs this year. One at Plymouth North and one at Plymouth South. They're specifically on our late bus days, so the transportation barriers decrease. We have over 30 businesses that have participated in the event, and I would say at this time, and it's only the first hour in, we're at almost 150 students who have participated. So I'm very, very happy with the turnout. Here at the Healthy Plymouth Opportunities Program Career Fair, we are very pleased to have over 31 vendors from the community offering a plethora of jobs to our students. Some are paid, some are volunteer work, and some are experiential opportunities for students. So we really have a wide variety of options for them based on their passions or what they would like to develop as their passions. This fair is actually open to middle schoolers and high schoolers. The middle schoolers don't get out of school until 3 o'clock today. So they'll be coming in any minute, I'd say. They will be probably more inclined to look at the volunteer opportunities because a lot of businesses don't hire anyone under 15 years old. But that's why we were really focused on getting a variety of businesses here so they could meet lots of different interests and lots of different needs. The businesses last year had some feedback that some of the students were coming into the positions and could have used some more skills for their jobs. So this year we've added workshops to help the students receive those skills. They're happening right now. Interview skills. We've got Derek Paiva from the YMCA here in Plymouth helping students fill out applications on site. So not only did they come to the fair, they identify a job or an opportunity that they're interested in pursuing, but they can fill out their application here, get it done, and then go home knowing that they've done their job for today. I think the most important thing is that this originated out of a group of individuals that have come together, our community leaders, to really address the out-of-school time that has led to risky behaviors in youth. So this is a substance abuse prevention initiative to engage our youth, our middle school and high school, in after-school and out-of-school activities. A lot of kids who don't have jobs yet don't feel like they're part of the community and don't feel like they are really worthwhile, and this is a way to make them feel like, hey, I'm needed, I'm important, whether I'm volunteering at the Terracura Garden Company or I'm working at BJ's or Panera Bread. I have a meaning. I have something to do here in the world, and I'm needed, and that's really, really important.
We are happy to have a new contributor to our health and wellness segments, Duxbury Fitness.
Hi, I'm Vicki Paquette, and I am the owner and trainer at Duxbury Fitness. I'm here today to contribute to PCN's Health and Wellness segment. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about core strength. What is core and how do we strengthen it? Typically, when people think about core, and that's usually what clients want to strengthen the most, they think the midsection. They want to get rid of the pooch and tighten up the core. The core runs from midsection right down to your thigh, front and back. So it's important to really focus on all aspects of the core. How do we strengthen front and back? It's not as simple as doing sit-ups. If we take a look at what is happening in our core, we have the abdomen muscles that we automatically think of when we do a sit-up, the front superficial abdomen muscles. Deep inside, we have another set of abdominal muscles that really hold everything together and keep us steady and stable, holding in all our organs where they belong and making us able to stand upright. We actually want to do some bigger movements, things like push-ups, deadlifts, squats, all of those movements that make us steady, that whole center of our body, keeping everything tight. So when we do our deadlift movement, I'll show you from the side, everything stays tight and secure. We have a pelvic tilt, and that's actually holding our abdomen in, keeping that pooch that everyone worries about down tight. So we're down in a deadlift move, lift, pull the shoulders back, lift up hard, and you're actually keeping this whole part of your body very tight and secure. Pull it up, tuck in tight. I'll show you a few more moves that will actually help get that entire midsection tight and stable. So here we have a deadlift movement. Deadlifts are perfect for stabilizing and strengthening the entire core, but they have to be done properly. So in a deadlift, you need your shins right up against the bar. Hold the bar right outside of your legs, and you want to flex and pull from the upper body before you even do your lift. From that point, you drive through the heels and hinge your hips, popping them right back in place. Another great core stabilizer that is a true abdominal move, if you're still looking for that crunch replacement, is the hanging ab. You can do it two ways, as a knee tuck or toes to bar. So you hold onto your bar, about shoulder width, a little wider apart. Make sure your body's straight, abs are tucked down tight, and you're bringing your knees right up towards your chest. Controlling that down movement. The toe to bar is a little bit more difficult and advanced. There are many different exercises that support and stabilize the core. It's important to switch it up, switch your routine, and make sure you're using proper form, keeping that abdomen down tight. Thank you for watching PCN's Health and Wellness.
Town Talk brings us to Plymouth Town Hall for a spring update.
Hi, I'm Melissa Arrighi, the Plymouth Town Manager. We have a couple things coming up very shortly, and the most important is the Saturday, April 2nd town meeting. What you're going to see at that town meeting is next year we're looking at a $210 million budget to operate the government of the town. That includes 4 enterprise funds, which are really, in many ways, sort of a business fund that we're allowed to set up where the fees that come in pay for the operations themselves. And that's your water, sewer, airport, as well as solid waste, your transfer station and curbside pickup. In addition to the $210 million budget that you'll see at town meeting, we have what's called an Environmental Affairs Fund. This is a brand new fund that we are looking to create through a special act. It's been supported and really an initiative of the Board of Selectmen for some time. It would take taxes that come in from our solar arrays that we have throughout the town, and it would take those tax payments and put them right into the separate fund so that it could be used for projects that have to do with open space or land acquisition or clean water or any other environmental project, and it would be held under David Gould, who is your Director of Marine and Environmental Affairs. Now, this fund would still require town meeting action. This isn't an appropriation that would be allowed to be spent directly by the town. They would need to come back to town meeting. But it does give us more flexibility to have this earmark that would go towards environmental projects, which, as you know, in this community of 104 square miles is really important. One of the things I could compare that to is when the town accepted the local meals tax and directed that extra amount of money directly towards the building of the new town hall. So earmarks can be a good thing if they're for something that this community wants to see occur. In addition, there's something that isn't coming to town meeting that we really hoped would, and that is a location in the build out of a new fire station so that we could sell the North Plymouth Fire Station and replace it with one that isn't antiquated and that would provide for the size apparatus that we need now. The town has really struggled to find a location that will work for this new North Plymouth Fire Station. We'd narrowed it down to 2 very good options. Unfortunately, neither of those have resulted in a purchase and sale agreement, but you have our assurances that we're going to continue to try and hopefully have something for you for the fall town meeting. Other things that are going on, changes that you'll see, is the Veterans Council has contacted me, and they're looking to change the route for the Memorial Day Parade. Now, their reasons are wonderful. They want to be able to continue to see participation of marching veterans that are aging. We don't want to lose them at all. This is about our veterans. So we're going to work closely with them to change that overall parade route to make it easier on them. As you know, sometimes walking up the hill on Samoset Street and cutting through the cemetery can be a tough little trek. So it's more important to us to have their participation, as many as possible, and to be concerned about their safety than it is changing the parade route. So we're pretty sure that's something that we will be able to accommodate for this year. After town meeting, we'll have the same follow-up that we do, trying to get everything in line as we gear up for the summer tourist season, in addition to already thinking about the fall town meeting, so stay tuned.
Thanks for watching this week. We hope you enjoyed all the stories from your communities.
Replay times and more information can be found at our website, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter for previews and links.
We want to close this show with a fun piece in honor of April Fool's Day. Please enjoy, and we will see you next week for our PACTV Community News. Duxbury's multi-million-dollar dredging project has come to an end. Okay, let's do that one again. Duxbury's multi-mauler... It's a multi-mauler! Okay, I'm sorry. Enjoy a trip to some summertime fun when our locals eat... Doctor's Orders brings us to our friends at Beth Israel
It's a long one.
Doctor's Orders brings us to friends at Beth Israel Decent. Oh my God!
There's some weird noise going on back here anyway that kind of disrupted.
Doctor Orders.
No, Curly wasn't the original. Shemp was the original. I never would have thought that. I always thought Shemp was. Did Shemp die or something?
So he had a stroke, I think. No, it was Curly. My husband knows all this stuff. We're chilled.
Jello.
We're gelling.
Jello pudding pop.
Put the lime in the coconut and cook it all together.
Now let me get this straight. You put the lime
in the coconut.
And Bert's like, put the lime in the coconut.
That was so
We used to
cute.
laugh so hard. Golly gee. Great. I hate saying the word rural.
Rural and historical society. Maybe you need to slow down just a tad.
Yeah. Didn't we almost have it all?
All right, here we go. Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Potatoes, you say?
Not enough vitamins in their potatoes.
There's not enough vitamins in the potatoes. There's more blue space on my side than his side.
Oh, man.
Nope, other way.
No, what?
Other way.
Dude, come on. Dude, other way.
No, other way, other way, other way. There you go. Now Brian's got more blue.
Oh, blue.
Don't it make his brown eyes blue?